This is the Interdimensional Meditation Report for September 11th, 2025. All right, so if you weren't here last night, Wednesday, September 10th, we did a live guided interdimensional meditation. We do this every Wednesday and Saturday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. It's live streamed on this channel. You can also go and enjoy the archived recorded versions on the live version of this channel. If you're not doing these live guided interdimensional meditations, I strongly encourage you to do so. It is one of the required, if you will, steps to achieve the shift that we are experiencing, those of us who are doing this work on this channel. All right, so we did one last night. If you were there for the meditation, please put in the comments section what you experienced, what you saw, what your communications were. And, if there's something that I didn't remember, because I don't remember everything, please put in the description what we did, what you found, what you thought was important. Okay, so first off, I want to say that it turns out, based on what I've seen, it just came up in my YouTube feed, but there was some kind of electromagnetic pulse, or like major pulse, that most likely came from the center of the earth. So there wasn't a huge solar storm, but there was some very powerful electromagnetic signature, some huge spike in electromagnetic energy on the earth. And again, according to the source that I saw, he believed it came from, this geophysicist believed that it came from the core of the earth herself. So I find that interesting because that is along the lines of some things that we were doing in the meditation. So to be honest, I was still kind of reeling from the meditation that we did last Wednesday energetically. That was so unbelievably powerful for me. And I've shifted. I can honestly say that my mental and emotional state has shifted, and a huge chunk of negativity just isn't there. And there's still human negativity within me, but I seem to have an ability to turn it off, or I'm able to think my way into a higher frequency, which is something I haven't been able to. So lifelong negative self-talk has, some of it has disappeared, and other aspects of it have become more manageable. So that, anyway, I find that very significant. And that is something I've noticed since last Wednesday's meditation. If you want to know what happened, go and do that meditation from last Wednesday. And you'll have your own experience. So, all right, so this meditation, I didn't know what we were going to do. And it turned into a very beautiful meditation. What I saw, and again, please fill in the blank and refresh my memory. I started off doing the whole breath, as I always do. That's what gets me connected, and that's when I usually get an idea of where to go and what's happening next, or who's wanting to communicate with us. And if I remember, I decided to bring us out of our body into interplanetary space. Correct me if I'm wrong about that. It's possible I'm wrong. But I saw this, what appeared to be like a golden light. And so I allowed I don't know, there was a lot of stuff that happened. At some point we went into the golden light and we ended up somewhere. If I'm remembering correctly, we ended up in some very magical world that had rubies and garnets and all these gemstones everywhere. There were mountains made out of gemstones. By the way, I don't judge what happens in these meditations. I don't think about whether or not they're real or imagined or if they're symbolic, or I don't do that. I just do the meditations and I follow the energy. The energy is real. And I just simply report what my meditative mind is seeing and experiencing as I'm out there. And not too long ago, I can't remember how long ago it was, but I remember we went to a planet that was made entirely of diamond. It was just this big diamond planet. And I didn't think anything of it. If you had asked me, if you had forced me to find it, I probably would have said, well, that's a very interesting, higher dimensional experience or some kind of spiritual symbolic thing. Again, I don't analyze it, but it wouldn't have occurred to me that in our third dimensional universe there would be a planet made out of diamond. But not too long after that meditation, again, just something dropped into my YouTube feed, and sure enough, scientists not too long ago discovered, if I remember correctly, a planet 10 times the size of Earth made 100% of diamond. So it makes me, with those kinds of things that I couldn't possibly have made up and they turn out to line up, that gets my attention. There's more to these meditations than just us having a cool little, fantasy. So anyway, we went through the golden orb, and I don't remember what happened after that. I think I remember there was a communication. I think we received something like our true name and our true purpose. Yeah, there was something along those lines. And I believe that the mantis beings showed up, and there were other light beings there. Interaction, communication, I don't remember. Please put in the comments what you remember, what your interactions were. And then after being there for a while, we came back into this third dimensional reality. And then I felt that there was like this golden aura around planet Earth. And I felt that was important. I was getting the feeling that love was very important, and unconditional love and forgiveness. All of these things were very important for our shift. We had to let go of resentments and attachments and unforgiveness. And I also felt the desire to connect the sun to this golden aura around the earth. So intend for the sun to send golden light to the earth as well. And then we chanted the Huar breath to facilitate that. Again, I don't remember a whole heck of a lot. But I remember that my heart was, for about the first 2/3 of the meditation, it was painful. There was so much energy. Maybe my heart was constricted, I don't know, but it was painful. There was so much energy hitting there. And that eased up towards the end. And I can't remember a whole heck of a lot after that. I ended the live stream. I continued my communication and meditation. I hope you did the same, and had some very beautiful interactions. The light beings, for a while after that meditation, were very excited, and they were very happy and joyful and grateful. And my experience of the light beings is quite often they will come to me and they will say, I wish we could show you what you've accomplished for us in this meditation. you can't possibly begin to know the many wonderful things that you've done for the whole conscious multiverse. So I have to take them at their word for that. I receive all of the love. They send me a lot of love. You know, they ask if they can do that. They just don't throw it at me. They ask if they can, and I, of course, say yes. And so I got a lot of really wonderful, positive energy from them. So that was my report of this last meditation. Like I said, the meditations lately have gotten to the point where I don't really remember what happens. You know, we go to such a higher frequency that it gets hard to remember. One of the things I did when I got back, and I was, after shutting down the live stream, and I was meditating and communicating, was I was focusing on where I live is a very interesting little pocket in North Florida. There's, if you just go, a few minutes north or, a few minutes south, you end up in just normal Florida. But in between where I am, there's this enormous rainforest area. And it goes in some parts all the way up to the beach. It's like you're on this tropical island in the middle of, wherever. And so that's one of the reasons that I like being here. And in the meditations, I was envisioning the beautiful palm trees and the tropical plants, and I was envisioning them shifting up in this golden light. And I got the idea that this is a good thing to do. That higher frequency of every place exists. So where you are, even if you're in living in the middle of a packed, dense city, if you go to a higher frequency, it'll be the same world, the same spot on Earth, but it will be 100%, natural and nature and beautiful. And so I kind of got the feeling like, this was a good exercise to shift up and out of that. So anyway, that's my experience of it. I do want to add that the she energy that I'm talking about a lot, I'm doing that for a reason. And without, I'll save it for other videos, but I'm especially feeling the power of the navel Dantian, which is, what I've just released, the Hands of Infinity. That I've found has given me a great deal of power. And if I follow the breadcrumbs that seems to be left for me, it's gotten to the point where, I seem to have a lot more power to intend the state of the world. And again, I'm not telling you I know this for sure. I'm just looking at when I've worked on the Hands of Infinity and then intended things for the world, there have been things like the world will drastically shift within 24 hours. Weather changes that, like in one case there was a hurricane that was out in the Atlantic that was gearing itself up and was, the Hurricane Center, the National Hurricane Center was saying there was a 90% chance, which is, if they say that, it's going to happen, and it was going to head towards Florida. And I did some work with the spirit fighting sets, among them the first set, and I made the intention that wasn't going to happen, and literally overnight it died. The storm that was coming together died in the middle of the ocean. And it went and from a 90% chance to a 0% chance within 48 hours. And so officially that's what they said. And I kept seeing, that was the first time in history that's ever happened. And they're asking, how was there such a huge failure by the Hurricane Center. So if you're interested in that kind of power, we've got, all of these practices here. I encourage you to watch the videos about it. You can go here to thunderwizard.com, click on shop, and you can get the 5-element spirit fighting sets and the summoning the immortals if you want to feel the energy. If you're past that point, you can go to maushan.thunderwizard.com and get all 5 of the element sets, and you can also get the first set, or called the Hands of Infinity. Those of you who are doing those sets, you can put your experience in the comments section. I'm really going to start sharing more and more of that, and I want you guys to enjoy it. It's I believe now is the time. I was told 30 years ago that the stuff I was learning was too dangerous for the average person. I wasn't even allowed to talk about it or show it to anybody. And I believe now that human beings and the world is shifting to the point where it's not too dangerous for the average person anymore. This is what we are evolving into beings that can think, intend reality into existence. All right, that's it, my friends. I love you all. Please be very good to yourselves. Of course, you can go to, if you haven't already done so, you can go and subscribe at the Warrior 90-Day Lightning Qigong. You see it right there. To do that, you go to thunderwizard.com, click on memberships, and scroll around until you see Warrior 90-Day Lightning Qigong. And you can, if you want to get started with the spirit fighting sets and you're not ready to go all the way, the stuff I've got here on maushan.thunderwizard.com, you can go to thunderwizard.com, click on shop, and then you'll see these. The Maushan Summoning the Immortals right there. Start with that if you're brand new. Next to it is the Celestial Qigong, the foundation of Maushan energy work. I would recommend both of those if you're beginners. And then you see above that the 5-element sets, and you can begin with all of those right away if you want to feel this power. If you just want to feel the power, do the Summoning the Immortals just to prove me right or wrong, and you'll find out whether or not this is real. Okay, I love you guys. Be very good to yourselves. I will see you all very soon.